Where do you see magic on television going?
It's interesting. I pitch TV shows out here in Hollywood, continuous basis. Not all magic. Once in a while, I'll throw in a magic show, but magic has an interesting aura around it. It's a hard sell, and there's only a few people doing it now. Obviously, Chris Angel's on A&E, which is a cable show.
Yep.
Copperfield's been off the map for 6, 7 years, 8 years now, maybe longer. I lost track.
Close to a decade, definitely.
People want like this fresh. They really don't know what they want. I mean, they don't. They have to see it. I mean, really, if it's very good and different and fresh, it'll be sellable.
Yeah.
Because when you go to an executive and pitch a show, they really don't know until they see it. They're all visual people in the business. So I think it has to be modern. Magic is really always retro in a way.
Okay.
If you look at all the greatest artists, you look at Madonna. Look at, she's 50, but she keeps reinventing herself. Prince, all these artists that have been around for 30 years. And you look at their careers, even look at Tony Bennett, he came back. His son revitalized his career. I think he went out with Alanis Morissette or something, did a tour with, a younger crowd. Constantly reinventing yourself and staying with the times. And that involves hairstyles, fashion, music selections. You think about a lot of the acts, it's kind of a catch-22 with magic because it takes you 5 years, 6 years sometimes to perfect an act, but by that time, it's almost outdated.
Yeah,
it's kind of an oxymoron.
Duran might not be a very good choice.
Exactly, and the clothes choices, and so you kind of have to see what is happening in the mainstream and mirror it as close as possible, because otherwise, if you sell the show to people, they're in the mainstream.
Yeah.
They're watching what's happening now. They're watching Justin Timberlake. They're watching Christina Aguilera. They're watching Hannah Montana. All these people, the Jonas Brothers. That's who they're seeing as hot, and they want people like that. Everybody follows the leader out here in Hollywood.
Gotcha. So let's say an aspiring magician who wanted to do a television show comes to you, Tony Clark, to help him put together a pitch. What is your advice to that person?
I would say make sure the material is fresh and young, meaning, act your age. Don't do any stuff that's, old and done to the overdone. And, if you look at, for instance, the sidetrack, it's like, was it Keith Barry? He came over, and if you look at him now, he looks very different. He was on Ellen. He has like bleached hair and spiked, and and even Chris Angel. There was a transformation with Chris Angel out of the heavy duty black hair. They, the
now
people
he's like
around
a little bit more Fallout Boy than
a little more mainstream.
Yeah.
But that's because of his management company. They put him in touch with the right stylists and stuff like that. You don't have to hire a stylist. You could just pay attention to magazines, look at magazines and Star magazine, whatever magazines are out there of people, and see what they're dressed like and what they're doing. That's if you want to do television, But you can still do a classic act and do it well. I mean, there's guys out here like Jonathan Neal Brown, Chris Hart, that constantly work because they're doing like classical music.
Yeah.
If you do it right, it's going to be around forever. Classical magic is the same thing. I don't think it'll be on television, but you can still work. But for TV, it's got to be very hip, very young, and fresh, and just it's got to fit into what they see. That's the image. What's out there now, it's got to fit into that mold.
You said something interesting that I'd like to kind of touch on one more time, that people in LA don't know what the next magic thing is because it has to be shown to them. And it seems like magic is definitely, and I'm sure it's not unlike a lot of TV genres, where that's the case, that it takes somebody redefining it for people to say, oh, okay, no, we want this. We wanted this the whole time that we were looking for something. But if you were to take a guess, what would that be? What would that next step be? Is it more of the street magic kind of stuff, more of a big, the illusion? Is it more close up, more, eye popping spectacles?
Street magic, I think, has been done a lot now. That's not as fresh as it used to be, obviously. With Chris, Blaine, of course. I mean, the way Blaine sold his special, he had it on tape, sat in front of, ABC building in New York for months and months, and finally was able to hand it to somebody. And, he explained it to people that when they saw it, they go, oh, they got it.
Yeah.
I think Chris Angel is doing, what is necessary for the modern day audiences.
Okay.
Think about the evolution of a modern day audience. It's very fast, very quick, a lot of content, and a lot of quick cuts. For instance, even in the clubs in Vegas, a friend of mine told me in 4 or 5 years ago, he was able to play 30 songs in an hour. Now he plays sorry, take that back. He played 15 songs per hour, average in a nightclub. Like, he worked at the MGM Studio 54 Hot Club. Now, when he plays a club, he plays 30 songs, double the amount of songs in an hour's time, because people don't want to sit around listening to the whole song anymore. He's got to
Huh.
cut out of it. So that shows you the mentality. And, video games. I have a paper, an essay that I wrote called the 15-second theory. We're so stimulated. You watch TV, you watch the news, there's a scroll across the bottom, there's split screens, there's a breaking news coming on, there's a temperature changing. So we're so stimulated. People need to be stimulated constantly. So Chris Angel does that. Love him or hate him, he does what he has to do to keep it hot and fresh, modern to the audiences of today. And the
Yeah.
kids dig it. Kids love him. I mean,
So, yeah.
magicians don't like him because we know what he does as far as the editing and all. But lay people think he's amazing. He
Indeed.
keeps their attention. It
He's got a big
keeps because he
crowd.
keeps it popping, pop, 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 and that's what has to happen. It's got to keep moving constantly.
So that would be the bigger thread to you than, say, even street magic in terms of a magic show, is that it has to be mindful that it's constantly coming. It's always the next thing isn't on its way. It's already here. Like,
Right. No, it has to be, because if you look at the old TV special, look at the Dick Cavett shows, for instance. My God, they'll sit and talk to the same person, one guest, for an hour and a half.
yeah, yeah. And
Never do that today.
now we're doing an internet interview that we have to split into 10-minute clips because no one's going to sit around and listen to a 35-minute one.
Exactly. There you are. You're in the world. You know the world we're in.
Uh,